The Indianapolis Colts have a load of questions to answer in this 2024-2025 NFL season. Who's going to be the starting defensive backs towards the end of the season? Are they even going to have a secondary to play? Is this defensive front going to be worth the amount of equity the Colts put into them this offseason? But one question they don't have is who is going to be the starting quarterback week one? And that's largely in part to the fact that for the second year in a row, for the first time since 2018, the Colts have a consistent starting quarterback for the second year in a row. Now, granted, we lost him for a majority of last year due to injuries, but this is something that I think a lot of people are starting to worry about. They're starting to worry, can Anthony Richardson be the guy? Is he going to be the one, the chosen one, the remnant, like the guy that everyone hopes he's going to be? A lot of comparisons have been made to, is he going to be Cam Newton or is he going to be RG3? Cam Newton obviously had a very long and really good career and would have continued to have a good career if not for plaguing injuries. RG3, on the other hand, started and made the Pro Bowl his first season, tore his ACL, and really was never the same since. Bounced around for a little bit, and now was just fired from ESPN. I love RG3. Don't get me wrong. RG3 is great. He's one of my favorite TV personalities. But as an NFL quarterback, he's not exactly the success that you want. But both of these guys were the top two NFL picks of their respective careers. Cam Newton, 2011. RG3 was 2012, behind Colts quarterback Andrew Luck. But here we have Anthony Richardson. Andrew. I'm getting Andrew Luck flashbacks. Anthony Richardson for the second year straight. Now, this is the first time that the Colts have had a second quarterback in a row for the first time since 2017, when they had Andrew Luck and then Jacoby Brissett and then Andrew Luck and then Phillip Rivers and then Carson Wentz and then Matt Ryan and then last year Anthony Richardson to Gardner Minshew. The Colts have had a QB carousel, and it has been the subject of a lot of graphic designers on NFL Sunday Night Football. Anytime the Colts are on, it shows how many times the Colts have swapped quarterbacks. But for the first time in several years, the Colts have their guy. They have a guy that's going to take them, and honestly, I think the response of Anthony Richardson is either going to be like Kirk Benkert, who says he's given up on Anthony Richardson after one preseason game, or it's going to be like some of the other NFL executives. And this is the report that I want to cover today, because a lot of these NFL executives have covered Anthony Richardson. And this is what an NFL head coach had to say. And we're getting this report here by Jordan Dajani. And this is that it hinges on quarterback Anthony Richardson, the number 4 overall pick in the 2023 NFL Draft, flashed his potential as a rookie in 4 starts, but a shoulder injury ended his first NFL season. After an up-and-down performance against vanilla defenses in the preseason, what should the Colts be expecting in 2024? Now, here's where I want to cover this. Now, first, let's look at this right here. This is, I think, very, very important. This is for a guy who played let's go here because I want to cover this part. He made 6 starts in high school. He made 13 starts in college and then just 4 in his professional season. This is a guy who combined from high school has 23 NFL starts. And he's completed almost every single one of those games. Of course, not completing very many in his NFL career thus far. But this is a guy who is still he's the youngest starting quarterback in football for the second season straight, due to the Patriots not starting Drake May. So he's not second. He was going to be the second youngest quarterback. He's the youngest quarterback to start this year. And a guy has 23 complete starts. Now, here is where the part of the report I really want to focus on, and that is the part where we're hearing about NFL head coaches. This is what they had to say. The NFL community is expecting big things from the Indianapolis Colts quarterback Anthony Richardson heading into his second season. One NFL coach told Mark Sando of The Athletic that everybody is scared of the Colts quarterback. Another offensive coach said that he was the closest thing to former NFL MVP Cam Newton being a man that big who can run the ball and rip it. Watching this dude in pregame from the 50 just arc and pace it, I said this guy can be a problem if it all comes together because he has the athleticism, a second offensive coach added. Granted, Richardson still needs to prove he can stay healthy. He only played 4 games for the Colts last season due to a number of injuries and can improve upon his accuracy after only completing 59.5% of his passes as a rookie, but the raw talent and upside are undeniably there. This is, I think, the important thing for Colts fans to focus on, and that is that so many analysts want to push this narrative that Anthony Richardson doesn't have it, that he's already washed up, that he's somehow forgotten how to play football and forgotten everything that we saw from the raw talent that he had, both at the Combine and in the NFL games that we've already seen him have. Remember, last season was, even in the first part of the season, was plagued with injuries. This offensive line wasn't yet coming together to the degree that we knew that it can. The schedule was not an easy schedule for an NFL quarterback to get to. And not only that, but he had no Jonathan Taylor. He had Zach Moss, who was just starting to bud into the running back, too, that he really became by the end of the season. So you add all that together, plus a guy who before that had only had 19 career starts. You add all that together, and of course you're going to get kind of a recipe for disaster. But then you add the fact that he felt that he had to carry this offense on his own. Mix that with a couple bad hits, and the lack of knowledge to go down and slide. You get what the product was that we got last season. But I would believe to say that the fact that NFL head coaches and offensive coaches are buzzing about Anthony Richardson should show that this guy's got it. And even though a lot of NFL analysts and Twitter wants you to believe that Anthony Richardson doesn't have it, I full and well believe that these scouts and NFL head coaches and the guys that are prepping for Anthony Richardson to have a breakout season should lead us to believe that he's going to have the season that we hope for. But the question is, can he develop fast enough? The win now mentality is for everyone else in the division except for the Indianapolis Colts. They made no moves this offseason to really put themselves in a position that they have to win it this season. Guys like Justin Simmons wanted one-year deals. Guys like Quandre Diggs wanted one-year deals because they wanted to prove themselves and get the next contract. But the Colts weren't willing to sign guys on one-year deals. Every single extension they made, aside from Joe Flacco, was for 2 or more seasons. Because the Colts believe, and Chris Ballard believes, that this team is going to be a team that they want to be good for a long time, not just good for a couple seasons. So this team is building on something for the future. Now, you got guys like the Houston Texans who are signing guys left and right, trying to get this team ready for a win-now mode. The AFC South is constantly competitive. Since the 2010s, there's not been a team that's run away with the division for a long period of time. The Titans had their time. The Jags had their 1 year. The Texans have been good and then bad. This is a division that is going to be competitive until the end of time, until another dynasty rises up out of it. And the Colts have the opportunity to make that dynasty, and I think that's what Ballard and company want to do. Now, don't get me wrong, if you watched the video a couple of days ago, I've been critical of Ballard. But I truly believe that in the end, this is a guy that wants to build it towards the end goal. And even though it doesn't make a lot of sense a lot of times, especially when the lack of addressing the defensive backfield, a lot can be said about his hope and his belief in the players that he has and the guys that are on the Indianapolis Colts team this year. Now, I believe that the Colts are going to be really, really good, and I think this offense is really going to figure it out and come together and be good. But let's not forget that Peyton Manning threw 27 interceptions his first NFL season. Andrew Luck didn't look like the guy that he would end up being his first NFL season. Now, he looks good, and I don't think we shouldn't, base everyone off of what Andrew Luck was able to do. But Anthony Richardson's going to take some time to develop. But I think that from what we've seen, it's going to be worth it. And this is going to be the QB of the future in 5 to 10 years when our kids and our grandkids are talking about the next great Colts quarterback, and it's going to be Anthony Richardson.